Alright, so sorry, I got distracted here. Because this Lawrence Southern thing, Brittany Pettibone, Martin Snelling, Tommy Robinson, the rebel media, it's actually a pretty big topic. And, well, yeah, I'm gonna go over this because it's major. We're talking about terrorism, racism, international policies, the rebel media, and just a bunch of really big YouTubers. So let's go over this for a second. First of all, they are terrorists in that country because they're promoting hatred of a facade. And that facade is being pasted on other people. So they're creating a delusional impression of how they perceive people, and they're painting those people like that. And they hate that impression that they're painting them with. So they don't actually hate the people because they're not even referring to them. They're referring to their facade, which is delusional. And if you're not counting promoting delusional hatred as terrorism, well, then let's move on to the fact that they're promoting anxiety by creating stress for those, for the Muslim people in the community. Then they're not terrorists, they're creating stress for them regardless, though, and they're creating stress for the other people that are naive to the topic, or they are uncomfortable with how the media is perceiving them, or with the fact that there has been terrorist attacks. But you don't have to worry about the people that are afraid. You're actually creating anxiety for the community of Muslims. Not only that, you're promoting hysteria amongst the other people that don't want the Muslims there. So, through promoting anxiety, hysteria, and hatred, that is promoting terrorism. Terrorism isn't about explosions and bombs. Terrorism is about inciting hysteria and anxiety and hatred in people, or a concern for those things. And having Muslims in your country doesn't incite those things. If you have those things because Muslims are present in your country, you're delusional, and you should seek a psychologist. Not a psychiatrist, a psychologist. And if the psychologist isn't good enough for you because you're too bigoted to listen to what they're saying and accept it and absorb it, then you can go to a psychiatrist and you can get dosed. So, because when you have hysteria, it's an incoherent hatred. It doesn't literally make sense. You're like panicking. It's mania. It's when all these people are doing something, so you're all, what's going on? And you don't actually have concrete thoughts. There are no thoughts. You just have a conception. Because conceptions are not thoughts. They're not backed up by a concession of thoughts. There's no cognitive process to it. There is no analytical process. It's just a conception. You're like, like an impression. So, they are terrorists in that regards for promoting hatred. But it gets a little bit more complicated than this. Now, the reason it gets complicated for me is because on my Facebook I recently posted a post that I have no faith in the British courts to actually win this case against them and have them labeled as terrorists. But they might not sue the UK because they will lose under the exact circumstances I just said. That's the law in the UK. They're terrorists. But if they were to lose, it's irrelevant. They're losers either way because they're testified by God. God. But by me not having faith in them, I posted on my Facebook account. And the reason why is because if your government says it's legal to cut grass with non-renewable resources or participates in that itself, I have zero respect for them. I have zero hope in them. I have zero faith in them. I have none, zero respect. I have zero respect for any human being on the face of the globe that has ever existed since the beginning of time and will ever exist who thinks it's acceptable to cut grass with non-renewable resources or actually does it themselves. 100% nothing. You lose. You can have a completely flawless society of a happy little land of everyone's perfect. They're all like jelly beans. They're all Teletubbies. Not a single sin on the face of the globe. You cut grass with non-renewable resources. Zero respect, zero hope, zero faith. The only thing I have for those people is regard. I obviously have regard for all their positive qualities. You can't just disregard. I was going to say just disrespect isn't the right word. You can't dismiss their positive qualities. You have to have regard for that. You can't just delusionally walk around Earth and have no perception of anything that has merit to it. But the individual itself, it's not a respectable individual. It's a person that you can acknowledge and have regard for. So, oh, I got one more point. God is omniscience. Omniscience. He's omniscient. Omniscient means the quality of being omniscience. God is everything. God can't be gay. It doesn't even make sense. So the statement, it's not about the controversial characteristic of homosexuality being a blasphemy, where you just want to dominate other men or be dominated by men, or how you somehow equate love as being sexuality, or sexuality somehow represents love, and how you're perverting other people's children and advocating sexuality, which is a very controversial political topic at the moment. By actually saying God is gay, it's incredibly insulting to be that incoherent and bigoted about something that is so incredibly imperative and meaningful and spiritually compelling for so many people, when it's what creates security all throughout Europe and the modern world. The entire modern world owes theism their safety, their technology, their prosperity, their rights, everything. And they're completely disrespecting, Lawrence Southern and Brittany Pettibone, the fact that God is omniscience. God can't be gay. That doesn't even make sense, because he's not a man. You refer to him as a he because omniscience is a male entity, not a feminine entity, because it impregnates potential. Potential doesn't impregnate him because he's everything. Okay, that came out really poorly. I'm going to have to make a video on that. And it's really, really easy to explain, and it's really, really meaningful. But the point is that it was just incredibly rude to promote that kind of anxiety, specifically targeting a race of Arabs, who aren't even really good at speaking English in a sense, with the most bigoted statement ever, by disregarding who and what God is in the manner of promoting perverse sexuality and insulting them, with the intent of insulting them because you hate them. And oh my god, it was just absolutely absurd. Anyways, I hope you subscribe. I got some other good videos. My next one